just when I think all is lost for the night, I fixed my VIC matrix switcher, only to find out that the diode A is also bad. I have to replace that later. However, decided to slap this guy on here, and all this is right now is just a primary and secondary wound in bifilar. My inductors are bridged. These are not connected. I'll take it. Here's my bifi secondary, and this is without Inductor B, just Inductor A. Look at this waveform without that inductor. Equal opposite polarity, kind of like a clipped kind of plateau. Easy 39 volts at the cell, 20 volts, 1.4 amps. Very appropriate production for that voltage level. This is my pulse frequency. Maybe I'll get the highest voltage here. 44 volts peak. So once it gets about over 40 volts, it does this weird kind of inductive coupling or something. Hang on. Holy bajingas. Remember that loop back I put from the, I can't even think, the secondaries negative up, and I decided to connect it to the actual cells positive. And boy howdy, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you something here. $52 volts. 52 volts. That's 50. I mean, just look at these things. My needles jump in, and that's just 2 cells, guys. 7 amps, 27 volts, but 500 milliamps, 600 milliamps at the cell. 49 volts. Right here at this cusp of this inductive coupling or whatever this is going on. Look at this. I've seen this before where it's just like so much power just... I'm starting to melt over here, but... So if I've got 50 volts here, I'm going to have 100 volts here, which means I'm going to have 150 volts here. And that is at the cusp of that 150 mark. That is potentially breaking that 150 volt limit that I've been seeing. I'm tethered here to this charger here, but all I did, I've been playing with this feedback, I guess feedback loop from this south end, negative end, whatever you want to call of this. I guess this would be from the secondaries negative bifilar coil going through a diode, and I've been connecting it to the inductor, and then it'd be going through the inductor to the cell, but I bypassed the inductor altogether, so it's just the secondaries bifilar negative wrap, because there's 2 wraps in a bifilar. There's one for the positive rail, one for the negative rail. It is the negative rail, the end of that, the output of the negative rail through a diode directly to the positive of my cells, causing a feedback loop of some sort that allows me to get voltage at this level. And also this is just with one inductor. This is that waveform that we're getting right there. This is with secondary polarity reversed. This is primary polarity reversed, essentially standard. In this configuration, I'm able to achieve well over 50 volts, 53 volts, consuming 8 amps, but that's okay right now because voltage at the cell is what I'm trying to get at. Yes, I would consider liquid cooling this thing. Ooh, but look at this configuration here. Wait for it. During this pulse off time, see this right here? Look what we start to build. Ooh, what's that? Equal opposite polarity? Okay. 2.8 amps? Okay. 37 volts? Alright. Appropriate production? Okay. But I mean, that's beautiful, equal opposite polarity. That's as, let's say, as good as it gets. Yes, sir, okay. Here it is enlarged by a factor of 1. Whoa, 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 whoa. Check this out. 5 volts here. 9 volts to the cell. There's literally nothing reading on my amp meter. Like, got 10 volts at the cell almost, and not even 0.01. Here's 0.01 at 6.63 volts. That's 11 volts at the cell. Whoa, what happened? What happened, dude? What is this? See how that? Wow, look at that. That just is weird as hell. A similar shark fin there. And then what happens to it? Levels out, like flattens, and then like reverses itself. And then like reverse shark fin. Inverse shark fin rather. And then we start building equal opposite polarity of sorts. Up to 37 volts at the cell. Interesting. This is with inductor B removed. Just one inductor. Maximum voltage. Interesting. Okay, this is with both inductors, A and B. We have this waveform start off as shark fin, completely reverse itself, inverse itself, and then maximum voltage here. We get a lot on the positive there, but no equal opposite on the negative. We got 34 volts at the cell. That's our input. I do believe SOS is onto something here. SOS Productions is onto something. Yo, I just swapped my stainless steel coils, what I've been working with here, with my copper opposite wound coils, single wind. And yeah. Rockin', my dude. 48 volts at the cell. 400 milliamps. 5.2 amps ain't bad. We are maxing out here. Look at this waveform now. Hold up. I had to turn it down a notch. I'm pretty sure I've seen this waveform before. Single wound, copper opposite wound. Switching to primary polarity in this situation grants me lower voltage. About the same voltage at the cell. Different waveform. About the same voltage, but less amperage. I'll just leave you guys with this here. Cell's running at 41 volts, 200 milliamps, about 2.7 amps in at full blast. Waveform. Man, we've been through a ringer tonight. And even though I about almost gave up on everything, I'm glad I did not, because I'm actually getting production again. We achieved theoretically over 150 volts at the cell, extrapolated across 6 cells there. Plus 50 volts for those 2 cells is a win for today. That is a dub, especially considering our amp consumption, you know, fairly minimal for that. Even though we're getting, like, you know, when we're up to that over 50 volts, we're kind of consuming some power over here and probably need to wind a more efficient primary / secondary. But yeah, a ton of video to review here today, and just making some progress. And man, the system's working again is a fantastic feat for me today. Stay tuned. We're going to have more of this as I have time to pour into it, as I do for my life's work here. I appreciate every one of you guys. Stay tuned. One last config I found gave me this waveform here. Kind of interesting that it appears that it's kind of increasing in voltage amplitude during the pulse on time. There you go. And whatever we're pulsing at here, 64%. Okay, last one, I promise. Bam, on. There it is. Production. Good night.
This is Stand Revenge.